And that's Steve and that's Simran. Representing Birmingham City University, UK number 2. And today we're going to talk about healthcare awareness in educational buildings from multiple perspectives to building information modeling. I'll pass on to T, he will tell you more about it.
Yeah. So the outline today of this presentation is going to be based on the purpose of the project. To discuss that with you. We will show you the results and our methods, and then we will discuss further the roles of BIM to improve healthcare environments. And now pass on to Simran.
So our purpose is to incorporate healthcare considerations in educational environments and being problematic as buildings do not perform as intended. Additionally, apart from common comparative buildings such as cold and flu, it is argued that some disabilities such as developing a learning environment, such as dyslexia and visual loss, developed, and they're going to be discussed later on. The case study chosen for this project is considered to be one of the most sustainable buildings in the West Midlands region in England.
So there are quite a few factors inside buildings which affect the health factors inside a building, such as the quality of the air. If the air is too cold or too warm, this can affect your breathing. Also the internal pollution of the air, that can affect your breathing also. Also the facilities such as the air conditioning units, these can cause a loud sound, so noise levels which can affect your concentration and your also the lighting, the sunlight and the artificial light can also affect the eyesight and your view of the screens in class or lessons, so that has an impact on your health also. Also, depending on the amount of people in a room, if there's a large crowd in one room, this can make the room quite warm, and this can also affect the concentration. And also the factors such as the hygiene. If you sneeze on a keyboard, next person who uses it to pick up the cold and flu from that device. There are also these are the fields of disturbances which can be found in a building. For example, flu and cold. Obviously, you can catch this from a closed environment. Concentration levels, headaches, and also you can get allergies more easily in a closed environment due to internal pollution. Also, breathing issues.
So, looking at these factors causing these illnesses or contagious illnesses, the result is really awful. This is, by the way, obtained from the literature. If you look at here, you can see that in the indoor environments, the number of hazards, including pollution sources, from the building characteristics as well, and the occupancy patterns, and all that has an impact, indoor impacts, and all this lead to health effects. So from this, we can actually do our research framework, or actually why we derived this project, because we want to look at the indoor environment and see what are the health effects and try to tackle it. Not by all means tackle all these diseases or illnesses, but in a way at least see one way or another to twist other approaches to solution.
In terms of our primary research, interview was conducted with the building delivery team and the facility management team, and the following questions were asked to them. The reason for using interviews with these two parties is to get an inside look of their health considerations, unlike building occupants whose responses may be based on personal this shows the feedback that we gained from both the interviews, and it shows that the building delivery team want to ensure that the occupants are satisfied in the view of the occupants and in the view of the healthy environment, whereas in contrast the facility management team want to maintain facilities. This feedback was expected as it shows that they both want to ensure that the needs of the occupants are met. in terms of the factors affecting health issues, it shows that both have similar answers. And in terms of the sustainability role in improving healthcare consideration, it shows that the buildings delivery want to control emissions and the facility management team are not aware.
Okay, well, the questionnaire was developed in order to capture the views from the building occupants. The questionnaire was designed to gain feedback from the occupants based on the varying topics that you can see here, such as capturing the disturbance factors affecting the most common illnesses, awareness of disabilities developed, awareness of hazards, and roles of sustainability in improving healthcare considerations. So as you can see from this question, survey respondents were asked which factors cause disturbances in a learning environment. And these options were gathered from our research, our previous research, and basically the actual take of the survey were given the option to choose like 2 answers or 3 answers, 1 answer, so multiple choices, and in the end our results showed that the 93% of all respondents believe that noise level caused the biggest distraction in a lesson or a learning environment, and with room temperature also quite high, with 83% causing a disturbance in a learning environment, and this needs to be addressed, obviously, of course, using BIM.
The next question was asked about the factors that cause illnesses such as flu and cold, and it shows that 70% agree that the air quality is a factor of this. It also shows that the other options available factors are similar, so it shows that we need to consider all of them to improve it. Previous research was gathered and it indicated that students within indoor educational environments gain a form of disability during their time in education. For this reason, we asked if occupants were aware of any disabilities, and it showed that 72% weren't aware of this. This was again expected as considering gaining a disability is not a common factor that individuals are aware of. The disabilities that could be gained are dyslexia, mental health problems, visual loss due to display screen unit, migraine due to the lighting, and the repetitive strain injury. This then relates to the following question, which asks if they're aware of any of these disabilities, and it shows again that they are aware of visual loss and hearing loss, which are
Well, the following question looks at gaining feedback as to whether survey takers are aware of the following hazards of indoor environments. And as you can see from the results, that most of the survey takers were not aware of the following hazards in a building. To be exact, 62% were not aware. These options were gathered again from our research, as we've done earlier on, such as volatile organic compounds. This is a compound which can be found in paint and furniture, for example, in this room. So if the chemicals are inhaled at exposed rate, it can cause major health issues such as immune system failure, allergic reactions, and breathing problems. So this needs to be considered in a building environment. The ozone, this is a pollutant and is affected by the outdoor environment. It affects the lung functions and causes serious health issues for people with allergies. Also, you have persistent organic pollutants. These are organic compounds which can be greatly affect the environment and have a major impact on your health also. And the chemical element inside of it causes an exposure which can lead to death and also a lot. And finally, the radon. This is a radioactive, tasteless and odorless gas which can be inhaled and it can have a major impact on your health and causing issues such as cancer and liver reactions.
It was part of the research which joined recently to actually ask people how they are aware of sustainability, do they actually understand it. Before asking any one of you, if what does sustainability mean to you? If you think that any building you would live in, or from your perspective, how do you define a building is sustainable? Is it because it consumes less energy? Well, obviously the client wants to spend less money to operate the building. Yeah, that's true. But again, that does not contribute to the occupants in any help, in any benefit, unless they actually know what it does for them. So for that reason, we were asking them whether sustainability would improve healthcare considerations. The majority of them surprisingly said yes. And looking at some of the comments here on the right side, we can see that they said that it could improve the conditions of living. You can use green ICT, for instance. The influence of design encourages develops health-conscious learning cultures, for instance. And at the same time, introduce background noise levels. So there is some awareness, however, it's not that obvious. And we needed to grab more attention. So that's why we picked up 2 quotes we actually distributed 40 questionnaires for the building occupants in that building, and these quotes were picked up. I found them very useful. So one of the quotes said, eliminate negative environmental impact completely through skillful, sensitive design. This is like asking whether you can stop accidents with a pineapple. They're unrelated. One is external, the other is internal. In another way, this person actually claims that sustainability does not contribute anything to healthcare considerations or healthcare environment. Is this true? Anybody? No? Okay. Sustainability should be considered as a holistic concept which should involve behavior change and mechanism for educating people on importance of sustainability. So in other way, this quote actually implies that it's an ongoing research, it's yet to be well defined, and it needs to be considered holistically. It's not only the point of saving money or applying sustainable systems. Okay, now to make any sense. Before I start about BIM, has anyone, apart from UK, okay, I'm exempting them, apart from UK, has anyone heard of building information modeling before? Okay? Okay, I'm aware that Finland is one of the top countries in Europe, probably in the world, in applying BIM, and that's why we were quite careful. And well, before starting this, I found this figure useful. So in one way or another, there is a plan here that, well, along the way to 2050, the energy in, when designing a building, energy in, water and materials in, and then applying the act, plan it, do it, and then check it. It would apply that emissions are out, effluent out, and waste out. You know, in one way or another, it's the same answers that the building delivery team answered. They want to reduce emissions, they want to actually eliminate emissions and reduce waste. Fine. If that's the aim, so that means that I would assume that in building regs, healthcare or health considerations are being considered. But unfortunately the case it's not. So in one way or another, this is the BIM model on the top, and for a newly designed building. And the building occupants, they more or less look at the internal environment, the layout of space, and the facilities available for them. If I walk into this room, what do I want? Let me list down. I want a comfortable seat, not a massage chair or something, just a comfortable seat, a stable temperature, and at the same time, I want the air quality to be, I can't see the air quality anyway, but I don't want to have problem in breathing, or people with allergies should feel comfortable. So, more or less, the staff and students, they do contradict in that concept because students, they come and go. Most of the staff members, they stay in the building longer. And that's why we were aware to understand that situation. While looking at on the other side, the facility management team, we call them actually the hidden angels of the building because they're the ones trying to maintain the balance between the building delivery team and the building occupants. It is true, because you're trying in a way to satisfy occupant requirements, and on the other hand, you just want to do what the building delivery team tell you to do. You're reporting the faulties as they tell you to do, and at the same time, you're trying to manage and balance the occupant requirements. So, one way or another, they are the screwed ones in the end. They can't deal with it that efficiently. And why did I put a crossover there? It's because most of the web-based applications developed to help them to do that has actually not been yet commercialized, which means that they have a lot of limitations, and they interact with the building occupants, and it should go back again to the BIM model to improve. So from this perspective, I thought that we could actually improve the healthcare considerations. Let's actually see how we can do this. So why BIM? BIM actually provides the opportunity to share and exchange information for people who don't know about BIM. More or less, I don't know if any one of you or most of you are aware of AutoCAD, Autodesk, Revit. It's the architecture programs, 3D modeling, 2D plans. More or less, what is BIM in that people misunderstand the concept here. BIM is applying a process actually. It's not only the 3D model itself. So it provides the opportunity to share and exchange information where project stakeholders can actually collaborate effectively to achieve optimal solutions. How? I've got the structural engineer, I've got the MEP team, mechanical, electrical, plumbing team, I've got the client, and I've got the landscape model as well. They all collaborate into one model where they can exchange information, update, and share it at an early design stage. So we thought that actually BIM has the potential to support healthcare environments from that perspective to managing information that provide extra health considerations. Okay, let's actually see that I'm a civil engineer myself, so I'm not trying to act smart, but this is actually the process when delivering any building. More or less, there's a design stage. We propose that at that stage there should be a collaboration between the building delivery team, facility management team, and building occupants at a certain level, by the way. So they do not collaborate fully because the building occupants, they're looking for a finished building, and you can't do that. You can't just simulate a whole building and tell them this is the building, how it's going to look like, and then when you deliver the building, it looks like something else. So anyway, they're going to have a little input at the beginning. And during the construction stage, which is actually I consider where the critical actions happen, there is the IFC model. IFC stands for Industrial Foundation Class Format. You can actually view it in open source, and that's why I put the logo over there. So the model itself can be viewed as code, and the codes are going to be IDs. Each ID represents a component, an entity, or an attribute in the building. So I can assure you that at two rooms, what, 8 walls or 7 walls, they have over 300 IDs in an IFC format. So imagine how massive is this when you're talking about just a building, a normal building, not even a height or something. So at that stage, we propose that the facility management team should have an input as well as the building occupants. In what way? We'll show you the next slide. In order for this, during the operation of the building, that would help the facility management team to manage and maintain facilities, and at the same time, we're even using them not to deliver the building, we're using it to educate people. I know simulations exist, and it's very friendly, but somehow we found that it's a little bit costly, and BIM has the potential to be a simulator, and at the same time an educational tool. So we could even simulate some awarenesses for the occupants. I'll show you a little scenario here. So if you want to measure the volatile organic compound in this room, okay, this room what does it consist of? We'll just look at walls, look at the furniture, and that's it. And where the air access go, where there's an air access, like windows or doors. So if we say that in such layout of space, that the property of painting, we add the VOC percentage to it. So when you add that, it becomes an entity or an attribute, depending on what the paint has or doesn't have. So when the painting is going to have its own ID for VOC percentage, so we're going to pick up the IFC ID for paint, and then the IFC for facilities. And facilities, as I said, could be the furniture, could be the chair, each chair or all of them. They're going to have certain percentage of VOC. And then through open source code, we can actually pick up this ID and calculate the percentage of VOC in a single room. Why are we doing this? The intention is not to measure only the VOC. We're just trying to deliver an application here. So, in one way, we're developing awareness. We're telling the building delivery team that what you're doing is actually correct. But there is more awareness because the figure that my colleague showed you at the beginning, that statistical figure, I'll again come back and show it to you later on. It's actually based on one of the universities in the UK, and it shows that 9% of students every year develop disabilities in learning environment. This is very dangerous and very serious case to consider. And by the way, that's in one of the most sustainable buildings as well. So think about a building that has been there for 50, 60 years, 70 years. And at the end, the output, when we run it to open source, if for instance, if we say if VOC percentage is above 40%, then tell me it's red. If it's less than 40%, tell me it's green. That becomes very critical in very large space layouts or very large buildings. And usefulness during the building operation, as I said again, that helps the facility manager to monitor the building and at the same time to do proactive maintenance. I don't think many facility managers actually do proactive maintenance. So they're only the active maintenance. Most of buildings are active maintained. So once it's break down, they repair it. It's not really for checking at some certain points, unless there's a tool to do that. But until now, there isn't. So the conclusion. During our project, we actually delivered, during the Climate Week in England, we delivered a poster to provide awareness on the climate change, again, health considerations, and it was actually viewed, so more or less what we said is actually, we see here that the sunlight, the impact on the building itself, the impact on the occupants, and a lot of some other factors like shadings and how we distribute sunlight inside the building. Very simple things, very high impact. We don't see them, we actually experience them. And how BIM can actually tackle or overrun these difficulties. Conclusions and future work. Complexity of healthcare environments increases depending on the nature of the building. Definitely, in hospitals, healthcare being considered very highly, of course, because that's hospital. It's people largely controlling. BIM facilitates a user-friendly tool to address various complexities, which can be more effective than interactive simulations. In a way, yes, in a way, not. But we're trying to utilize a tool as an educational tool as well. So this project is limited in its approach, being constructed on estimations and responses, where more accurate data to develop algorithms can be applied. And that's why we just developed one case scenario. You can develop as many case scenarios as you can, because you can include the ID as an entity, or an entity of one part in the building. Thanks for your attention. Have a nice day.